Good morning, dear students. Today we are going to learn about the functions of the brain. In last class we had learned about what are the different parts of the brain and how do they perform. What are the important functions. So if we consolidate all, then what are going to be the functions of the brain. So on that basis, let us discuss what are the different functions. So first function that brain performs is that it receives information carrying impulses from all the sensory organs of the body. It receives information and on the from all the sensory organs of the body. Then second function, what is the second one? It responds to the impulses which were brought by the sensory organs by sending its own instructions. Means the sensory organs have sent the impulse, then brain works upon it and sends its instructions, okay, to the muscles and glands, because motor areas, which are the motor areas? The ones which have to show the reaction to whatever the impulse has taken place, whatever the sensation has been received, okay. So which important parts are going to show the work? That will be muscles and glands, and they will cause functions accordingly. Fine. Then third, what is the third we can say the function of brain? The brain correlates the various stimuli, okay. It is going to correlate all the stimuli from different sense organs and produces the most appropriate and intelligent response, okay. After coordinating all the stimuli from different sense organs, like the smell is coming, the brain is thinking, okay, the thinking part of the brain is analyzing and relating it to the experience, whatever was the previous experience, like some sound which is not being seen, that what is the source of the sound, but we relate it, okay, we are just hearing and relating it to our past experiences. So this is how the brain correlates the various stimuli from different sense organs and produces the most appropriate and intelligent response to that stimuli. Then what is the next one? It coordinates all the bodily activities so that mechanisms and chemical reactions of the body can be done together efficiently. Okay, again listen carefully. The brain coordinates the bodily activities, all the bodily activities, physical activities, in such a way that the mechanisms and the chemical reactions of the body work they together efficiently. Okay. Then last one, let us take the last function. The brain stores all the information so that it stores all the information so that the behavior can be modified according to the past experience. Okay, and because of this function, the brain is also called organ of thought and intelligence. What do we call it? Brain is also called what? Organ of thought and intelligence. Okay. Why do we call brain as the thought as the organ of thought and intelligence? Because it, whatever the information the brain stores, according to that the behavior can be modified on the basis of past experiences. Okay. So these were the functions of the brain that we have discussed. So very important functions. All the things are being coordinated by brain. Now let us come to spinal cord. Spinal cord. If you remember in first part of this concept, that when we were talking about human nervous system, we said that CNS, and CNS is made up of brain and spinal cord. So let us learn what is spinal cord. Okay. If you remember the last function or last part of the brain, it is hindbrain. It was made up of three parts. What were they? Medulla oblongata, pons, okay, so and cerebellum. So medulla oblongata, it's one of is its and a posterior part. It continues into the spinal cord. Okay, it continues into the oblongated portion called spinal cord. Okay, now this spinal cord is protected by vertebral column. It is protected by vertebral column, which is running through the back of your middle of the back of your body. Okay, now it is cylindrical in shape. What is the shape of spinal cord? It is cylindrical in shape. Cylindrical in shape. Okay, then what else? This from each segment of the spinal cord arises spinal nerves. Two spinal nerves arise from each segment of spinal cord. Okay, the nerves which are arising from spinal cord are called spinal nerves. Fine. Now each of these spinal nerve is a mixed nerve. Okay, and possesses both sensory as well as motor fibers. Means they are picking up the sensation, and motor fibers, what do? They show the reaction to whatever the sensation has been picked up. Okay, so this is about spinal cord. Fine. Spinal cord is protected by vertebral column. It is cylindrical in shape, and from every segment of spinal cord, two spinal nerves arise. Fine. There are 31 pairs of spinal nerves. Fine. How many? 31 pairs. Okay. Then now let us come to peripheral nervous system. The next concept. This we were studying under the heading of CNS. Now we will talk about PNS. What is PNS? Peripheral nervous system. Okay. Peripheral nervous system is basically, what is it made up of? It is made up of, PNS is made up of cranial nerves which are arising from brain, and another one is spinal nerves. Now the function of cranial nerves, and what are cranial nerves? As we have discussed earlier, cranial nerves are the nerves which arise from the brain. Now these nerves, they spread throughout the head region. And how many in number they are? They are in 12 pairs. They exist in 12 pairs. So which part? Totally, whatever the head part is there, it is spread in that, these nerves. Now let us come to spinal nerves. The spinal nerves, they arise from spinal cord, and all through the length of the spinal cord, the nerves are arising. And they spread throughout the body. Okay, like in hands, abdomen, glands, or legs. Okay, so they spread everywhere. Now, how many pairs are there? 31 pairs. Now, how they are distributed? How these 31 pairs of nerves are distributed? 8 in neck region, 12 in chest region, 5 in abdominal region, 5 in hip region, and 1 in coccyx region. What is coccyx region? The coccyx is the bone, which is the last bone of the vertebral column. Okay, and these are mixed nerves. What do you mean by mixed nerves? Means they carry both sensory and motor nerve fibers in them. Okay, so what is the function of sensory fibers? To take the stimulus. And what is the function of motor? To react on that stimulus. Okay, which is being instructed by the brain. Fine. So this is about PNS. Now we will come to the last concept, that is ANS or autonomic nervous system, ANS, or autonomic nervous system. If you remember, in the first part of this concept of brain, we had learnt about what is the ANS and what are the various things related to it. Autonomic nervous system. Autonomous, not nomic. Autonomic or autonomous nervous system, ANS. Now, autonomic nervous system, it means self-governing nervous system. What does it mean? It means self-governing nervous system. It does not require anyone else to give the instructions and to make them work. Okay, that's why we are saying autonomous. Autonomous bodies are those which are working on their own. So this is self-governing nervous system. Okay, now what it normally operates? It operates automatically or involuntarily actions. Okay, what it does? It controls all which one? Automatically. It works automatically or involuntarily. Okay, it acts involuntarily. Fine. Then what else? It includes all those responses which are against stimuli, which are not under the control of animal. All the stimuli which are not controlled by an animal. Okay, so all the responses or all the responses for the stimuli which are not controlled by the animal are controlled here. Okay, now basically we are talking about involuntary activities. Now these involuntary activities, they are related to whom? They are just like visceral, we call them also visceral nervous system. Why? All the viscera is what? All those internal organs which are not controlled, like heartbeat is there, okay, beating of heart or peristaltic movements, fine, churning or if I talk about stomach, then churning of food that is taking place. It's not occurring under our will. So such type of activities which are taking place in the visceral organs are controlled by autonomic nervous system. Okay, so it contains basically the autonomic nervous system is of two types: sympathetic, as we had discussed in the earliest part of this concept, sympathetic and parasympathetic nervous system. Okay, it contains of two types. What are they? Parasympathetic and sympathetic. I told you what is parasympathetic. Parasympathetic activities are all those which are taking, while at rest, the activities are taking place in the body. Okay, and sympathetic means the ones which are occurring for the survival of the organism, like some emergent situation, and if it has to be dealt or we have to quit from that. Okay, so they are working hand in hand. If one system exerts stimulatory effect on an organ, then other system exerts inhibitory effect on the organ. Okay, if one is going to do the activity, then another is going to inhibit on that particular effect will be created on the organ, and their activities, they are controlled in which sense? We say autonomic nervous system. Okay, like if we talk about the inhibitory activities and the ones which are to be promoted, they are, for example, heart. it increases the contraction and rate of heartbeat, while the parasympathetic one will decrease the contraction and rate of heartbeat. So they are antagonistic to each other. If we talk about blood vessels, constriction of blood vessels will be carried out by sympathetic, while parasympathetic is going to help in dilation. So constriction and dilation. So expansion and contraction. So two types of activities, they are opposite to each other. Same way in lungs. What is happening in lungs? The dilation of the bronchi and bronchioles will be taken care of by sympathetic system, while parasympathetic is going to constrict bronchi and bronchioles. Okay, eyes, dilation of pupils or constriction of pupils. When the light falls on the eyes, they constrict, the pupil constrict. While you are in the dark room, they dilate. So opposite to each other. Then in case of stomach, inhibits, parasympathetic is stimulating secretion of gastric juice in stomach, while the sympathetic nervous system is going to inhibit, it will stop the secretion of the gastric juice. So like this, many activities which are being done in opposite to each other, means one is being regulated in the form of inhibition or the other one is being accelerated. So such type of activities are shown by ANS. Okay, so two types of activities are there, parasympathetic and sympathetic. So in this way we end the concept here of human nervous system. So I hope everything is clear to you. So you need to write down in short notes about the ANS and PNS. Okay, thank you.